me a Parsha story. Welcome to Parsha House.
Devorah lived in a cozy little house with her parents and her older brother Eliyahu and her baby sister Leah. Devorah loved spending Sunday afternoons playing with her best friend Racheli. They built magnetile mazes, they colored with chalk on the driveway, they played tag, they traded stickers, and just loved spending time with each other. One day, Devorah's Savta came over to visit. She invited Devorah to bake cookies with her. And while they were baking, Devorah snuck a handful of the delicious chocolate chip cookie dough. It was raw, it hadn't gone in the oven yet, and stuffed it into her mouth. Her tummy was happy for a few minutes because it tasted really, really sweet, but she was feeling a little badly about what she had done. 2 days later, Devorah borrowed her father's very special gardening trowel without asking. His initials were engraved in the handle. She wanted to help plant some seeds, but ended up digging a big hole that was way too big to put a small sunflower in. Her father was amused and slightly exacerbated. That means he was a little upset.
Oh, fiddle faddle.
The next adventure, or maybe I should call it misadventure, involved Devorah's love for drawing. She found a brand new box of Eliyahu's colorful markers and decided that it would be so nice to decorate their pet cat, whose name was Mittens, with a vibrant rainbow design. Mittens was white, after all, and would look so cute if she was a little bit more colorful. Mittens was not so happy about this idea that Devorah had and hissed and walked away. Yep, you guessed right, leaving a trail of colorful paw prints on the floor. Miriam's heart sank when she realized what a mess she had created. She didn't mean to be causing so much trouble. These mishaps, one after the other, even though they weren't anything so big, they were making Devorah feel uneasy and disappointed in these actions. She wanted to make a change, but she didn't quite know how to fix things. Then came the incident with the stolen marbles. That was different. That was bigger. And that felt heavy in her pocket and in her heart. Let me tell you what happened. One day, Devorah snuck into Eliyahu's room. He's a few years older than her. And he had a collection of shiny, colorful marbles. Devorah said, "Let me just take a few. I'll slip them into my pocket. Nobody will ever realize he has so many marbles." When her friend Racheli came over to play, Devorah said, "Do you want to see some treasures?" And she showed her the marbles. Her friend Racheli looked a little surprised and said, "Devorah, those belong to your brother." Devorah tried to drown out the sound in her ear that she was hearing, saying that she had made a mistake and made a bad choice and needed to fix it. That night, when Devorah went to sleep, the marbles were in her hands. They didn't feel fun anymore. Her stomach was turning. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she imagined how her brother would feel to know that some marbles in his collection were lost and that his collection was now incomplete. As soon as Devorah woke up the next morning, still feeling so upset, she knew she had to do something. She was a little nervous, but she walked to her brother's room and knocked on the door. Her heart was pounding. She said to her brother, "Here, I want to give you these marbles." And her brother, Eliyahu, with a smile on his face, said, "Wow, this one shimmers so nicely in the sunlight. Do you want to play marbles together?" And that was when Devorah burst into tears. "Eliyahu, I took these marbles from your room last night without permission. I'm so sorry that I did it, and I want to fix my mistake and never take anything that doesn't belong to me ever again." Eliyahu listened patiently and then gently squeezed his sister's hand. "Devorah, everyone makes mistakes. I forgive you. What matters most to me is that you try to fix your mistake. Because Devorah, stories can have new beginnings, and you're making a new beginning to your story." Then Devorah unpacked, unloaded, and shared some of the other bad choices she had made. "Eliyahu, I ate lots of raw cookie dough that I shouldn't have eaten. I messed up with Abba's trowel. I used it without asking and dug a hole that was too big. I drew all over Mittens." And her brother said, "Devorah, stories can have new beginnings. Just like you fixed what happened with the marbles, you can fix the other mistakes too." And from that day on, Devorah learned such an important lesson. Mistakes are part of life, but what makes a real difference is the courage to fix things and make them right. And her heart, that had been feeling so sad, was bursting with joy, with happiness, brighter than any marble in the world. Many years later, when Devorah was all grown up and a mom, she heard a story about a man who felt lost and hopeless because of his mistakes. She heard this story from Sivan Rachav Meir. This man lived in Iraq and visited Harav Ovadia Somech. He poured his heart out to the rabbi, and he told him about all of his troubles and all of his problems and all of the mistakes that he made and the bad things that he had done. The man couldn't stop crying. And then he just stopped and he said, "I have no hope. I made so many poor choices. I just feel like a lost cause. I just feel worthless." And Rav Somech looked at him with love and said, which means and. The man had no idea what Rav Somech was saying. He said, I don't know what you mean. I'm done with the story. There's no there's no and. That's it. I just shared with you all these terrible, horrible things, and that's it. The story's over." And Rav Somech said to the man, "The story doesn't end until you decide to end it. It's okay that you're talking about these challenges and these hard things that happen, but you can continue the story. You can fix them. You could always add a new ending to a hard story, even when you do the wrong thing. The important thing is not to stop, but to continue the story." And she remembered about when she was a little girl and her brother taught her this same lesson about choosing new endings, better endings, about writing new chapters filled with hope and change and courage, and the power that this man felt to change his story was just like that of Devorah from when she was a little girl. This week's Parsha Bechukotai opens with the brachot that we will receive for following the ways of the Torah. And it's followed by hard stuff that will happen to our nation when we don't make such good choices. The Torah includes a positive pasuk, even for when people make the bad choices and go into galut. Ve'af gam zot biyitem be'eretz oivehem. I will always, always be with you, Hashem says. There's always an opportunity for change. We can always add a new ending to the story. I hope that our efforts to change the mistakes that we make will serve as a zechut for our beloved chayalim and our brothers and sisters in Israel. Shabbat Shalom.